magnificent turnout, and what a great message to be sending to the Premier of this province, that everybody, 86 community organisations, together with private and public sector unions, are sending a strong signal to this Premier that this budget is grossly unfair in that it does not share the burden of paying the deficit equally across society. It singles out workers, particularly in the public sector. It singles out people on social assistance, and it singles out people with disability pensions. And we're saying to those folks, you have to pay down the deficit in this province. And we're saying to corporations, you don't have to pony up not one red cent. And that, my friends, is simply wrong. It is simply wrong to be saying to corporations who have benefited enormously in the last 3 and 4 years, $2.5 billion of taxpayers' money has been shoveled into the corporations. And yet we have the highest unemployment rate in all of Canada. My friends, that's a failed economic policy. And it's time that this government decided that it's a failed economic policy. And they should look to British Columbia, who basically in the last budget has raised corporate taxes from 10% to 11%, generating in this province, that would generate $800 million that we could reinvest back in healthcare, education, and social programs. At the same time, we would not be saying to the school teachers of this province that somehow, if you don't give up a wage freeze, if you don't give up your benefits, if you don't give up the right to strike, if you don't give up the right to free collective bargaining, then it's on the teachers' heads that somehow we'll increase class sizes, and somehow that you'll be responsible for the elimination of all-day kindergarten. What a shameful construct! A shameful construct! Isn't it more appropriate to say that if the corporations don't pony up 1%, then maybe we can put the blame on the corporations and say, because of these greedy so-and-sos, you won't put up extra 1% in corporate taxes. You are the ones to blame for the elimination of all-day kindergarten, not the school teachers of this province. We also have to ask ourselves, where are we going with this tax craze madness? Where is it going to end? Mike Harris, for God's sake, he was charging 14% on corporate taxes. We're down to 11.5%. McGinty wants to bring it down to 10%. If we keep going like this, my friends, we are going to end up paying for the privilege of working in this province. We'll be paying the corporations if we keep going at this rate. At some point, the madness has got to stop. At the same time, you cannot say to public sector workers in this province that you only have the charter right to go to the bargaining table in the good times. When it becomes the bad times, we have to suspend your right to strike or suspend your right to free collective bargaining. That's a big, big mistake. And the last Premier in this province that made that same mistake, he's now a Liberal. His name was Bob Rae, and we all know what happened to Bob Rae when he betrayed his principles, when he betrayed his base, when he betrayed his roots. He was out of office in the next election. And we're saying to Dalton McGuinty, look out this window today, Dalton. Take a look at your base. Your base is on the lawns of Queen's Park. You cannot get elected, my friend, when you don't have folks on telephones, when you don't have people knocking on doors, when you don't have people handing out flyers, because we all know elections are won and lost in the trenches. That's where it is, my friends. That's the message to Dalton McGuinty today. And finally, I want to say this to our friends in the NDP. I want to be very clear about where Labour stands on the right to strike, on free collective bargaining, and on where we stand on corporate taxes. But I want you to make no mistake, we stand on social assistance. We stand with the people on social assistance, and no political party worth its salt can walk away from a table and not see an increase in social assistance. It is absolutely shameful that we'd be saying to people on social assistance that you have to pony up and corporations who are making money hand over fist get away scot-free. That is not on in this province. That is not on with this Labour movement. And I hope to God, when this final deal is done on Tuesday, that we can at least hold our heads high and say that folks in social assistance were not called upon to share the unfair burden that the corporations should be taking on. Thank you very much, my friends, for coming out in such big numbers here today to send that signal. Solidarity.